Have you been walking around the Whispering Forest and then you just randomly get killed for no reason? Well, fear not, because here I'm going to be making a PvP guide that might help you survive, especially against some ganks or possibilities. And maybe even then, it could also help you fight bosses. Okay, for that I don't actually know, but let's get started with the first thing, which is still being the max level in a video game. Psst! Hey there. I got a disclaimer to tell all of you about. Well, guess what? All this footage that you're about to be seeing may not cover the information that you need. For example, this information has some stuff that you will never see in a guide because it's so basic, and there might be information that will be here. As well, this guide is actually an overview of a video. I am gonna go disclose in further details in future videos. And another disclaimer is that in the footage you will see that I'm in the Guild of Suncry. Now, please do not hate on it. I understand why you guys would hate on it for right now. And as well, I would have to say this, don't worry about me. I am not one of those people that like to arcade innocent people, so don't worry about that. I just want to give you that disclosure because I, have to because people would just overreact really quickly, and I didn't want them to, be like, oh, this dude fights against random people. How rude is he? And all that type of stuff. So, just a small disclaimer. And, yeah, other than that out of the way, let's go over the horribly bad edited, no scripted videos that I had to deal with. Let's just hope they're pretty good. Yeah, I know. You might be like, wait, that's the most common thing to do for PvP is to be the max level. Why are you telling us that? Well, it's very simple. You want to have the highest level, so you have the highest potential damage you can do. And the highest amount of stats you can have. Like over here, I have to upgrade my stuff, so let's see what I can do. Oh god. Yeah, I have all this stuff, so let me just quickly just warp myself into Iron Port. Okay, so here's an example. So basically, we're gonna upgrade a good amount of my gear. Look at this. So, let me see. Here's this sword, a Swift Oath Keeper for this character, and notice the stats. So here, this does the blade. We're gonna focus on the base damage of this sword. It does 33. So here it does 38. It gives me a stronger sword. So we're gonna have to ignore that. These daggers, 29.6, 32.6. A lot of damage. And right now these are big meta because for literal reasons. It's gonna get nerfed though. Sturdy Wall of Jericho. I know it's pretty bad, sorry. This is 40 blocking power from 38 blocking power. Pretty good if you ask me. Our defense amulet, 153, 172. This, 2348, 2554. Here, 2048, 2254. 1048, 1154. Yeah, you get the point. You want to have the best items and best equipment. It's in order to basically get better stats. So let's see. I'm just gonna go items now. Yeah, I'm starting to feel like this is let's go upgrade all of stuff. The only thing I didn't upgrade is the speed amulet, which is pretty bad. Even though right now I just need probably a strong explosion. Where's my thing? So, there we go. So I get 968 HP. So yeah, I say that's a good amount, especially for stuff especially if you're more on magic and you can. So it works out in the end. Alright, and speaking of upgrading our weapons and armor. Yeah, I know. This also seems dumb. But it's the weapons and armor. AKA the tools you need to assist your ways in killing people. You can use armor to boost damage, give yourself a lot of HP. So that's pretty good, you know? Well, unfortunately, and the thing is that there's a lot of things with stats. Again, I am not using a script because who needs script when I can just think about most of this myself. And yeah, now I kind of really like the stats, but unfortunately most of the stats, well, I mean like 70% of the stats, like destruction and nimble, are kind of useless compared to this armor right here. I consider use that if you cannot wear the for me, I'm doing this for fairness, but because I had a hard power amulet. But if you're starting out, then I recommend that if you can grab this armor set. I honestly find this a good power and defense trade-off. So you get 1,022 HP, and you can do some good damage. Here I have lightning, so I have lower damage. So let me just show you. 151, that just paralyzed all three of those bandits, but don't think, okay, if you're a lightning user, do not expect to paralyze anyone, unless you're a full glass cannon, and your enemy does not have a weapon. Because, trust me, many people have that type of build I'm using, or something similar to it. They will be able to tank it, not get paralyzed, and then just demolish you. So, yeah, help yourself accordingly. Now, for weapons, I recommend that you have daggers, dual daggers of your culture, because literally these things do so much damage. Like literally before, so this is when the guild update was released. This is like before Halloween update, which will change weapons. These do 209 damage if both of those daggers hit, 145 damage each. I find that too cheap, honestly. So I'm honestly happy that this is gonna be a thing. So yeah. I also recommend grabbing something that can inflict a lot of damage. So either something like a where is it? Any sword that can spin. The Exiled Sword, which I have around right here. Or if you're very lucky, a Sunken Sword, which even with its nerfs, it's still pretty good. But the nerfs actually kind of makes it balanced. Minus that, it's still kind of cheap to use. And of course, a shield. I always recommend a shield, especially if you can somehow get your hands on this. 50 blocking power is a lot, and if you perfect block, you usually will just take 10 damage or something. It's insane. And of course, when I mean insane, I mean insanely good to have. Trust me, if you like to block a whole lot, grab a shield. It will save your life so much times if you can. Magic's status effects can be detrimental to what magic you're using. So here, with a group of my friends and an old account, sadly, I'm not going to be using them to farm, by the way, if you're wondering. We're going to be testing out 3 things that a magic can do against the status of another. They can either buff the damage of one magic, they can do nothing with the other magic, or will hinder the damage of one magic, aka lower damage. So here, I'm going to be doing this example. So the Water Wizard, would you please hit Magnus Gates? Here he gets soaked, and here I do 189 damage. And that is because lightning does 25% more damage against soaked targets. That's pretty nice. Here we're going to see a downfall, aka the hindrance of a magic. So I'm going to be hit with magma, and then the Water Wizard is going to hit me with it. Here I took less damage. Please note the plus and minus signs nearby the damage. That can signal if you're taking less damage than normal or more damage than normal. Finally, we're going to be going over the neutrality, where one magic doesn't affect the status of another. Here, this Shadow Wizard is going to hit me after I get hit with a Magma Ball. So let's see that. See? No plus or minus signs. So it was neutral damage. I hope this will help you. And you want to check the Trello or any wikis and any informations to know what magics can benefit you and what magics cannot benefit you. I'll be going over this in much further detail in another video. And speaking of, and if you were to realize, there was different spells being used. So let's go over something else, like spells. Magic spells can all be different depending on what you do, what you tinker, and what the enemy uses. So here, this can range from blast to self-explosions, to place explosions, this is a place explosion, to a high jump that goes forward, or this also goes forward, or a beam, as of currently with level 90, because of the guild update. So, what would we be doing? Well, let's see. A blast will do normal damage. An explosion will also do the same damage as normal, with pillars doing just a bit more damage than a normal blast and able to reach out the highest output of damage possible for your character. Magic jumps are really useful for basically dodging, but remember that in this update, now they're nerfed to where you can only use them 3 times within a small amount of time, and after that you have to wait 20 seconds before using them. And beams are less damaging than blast, but travel near instantly. They're more made for pressure at distances, and very useful if you have a slow magic like gold or iron. Now here, I'm gonna show you what I use for spells for lightning. Here I have a 60% lightning bolt because I kinda like my radius. Here, this is a 100 by 100 blast attack, a self-spear explosion, a 90 and supposed to be upwards. Oh, that was 100. Oh, yeah, I see why. A 90% by upwards, a high jump, a 50 or 60%, a 60% forward jump, a 20 by 20 3-shot blast attack, a place shockwave explosion, and a self pillar that's 80%. Now the pillar one is made for jokes, but the first 7 might be useful, but that depends on your magic. So please note, other than that, please use a triple shot. This does a whole load of damage if you hit all your shots correctly. Anyway, now to the final part, which is the most obvious part that I'm going to be covering in this multi-series. Oh, and also, by the way, I will also be going over a detailed video on what spells would be the best for you. So, moving on. And finally, we got practice. You can't escape practice. You gotta need to get some practice in order to know what you lack in skill and how to increase and refine your skill area. Here, this is where we're gonna mainly take the series and put it into parts. Here, I'm gonna be mainly focusing on this type of thing, as in specific topics, such as the uses of high jumps, blocking, charging your spells during an event battle, spell types, magic interactions, you name it, I'm gonna probably do this. And as well, probably in a final episode, we're probably gonna cover generic tips and in general of how you can get better at a video game. What I really hope is that I can share this experience to make you better, because the goal here is that you can defend yourself against someone that wants to take you dead for no apparent reason, and turn that against their own words and mouth, and their own skill and magic. I really hope what I'm going to be doing is going to help you doing that type of thing. Now, let's go on to the ending. And that is it for this guide. Well, I mean, this is an overview for the guide that I'm going to be doing, since this will be split into parts. Thank you so much for watching, and I'd like to give credit to my old account, Remus Salor, Gavin Clay, Hugo Ketch, and Komi Gates for assisting me for this video. That way I could have gotten this footage, and also the magic interactions, and that funny intro sequence that I just decided to do that skit on. Other than that, I'll see you all guys later on another game, and I will be continuing the series and hopefully providing much better edits than the lousy ones I'm about to do. I seriously gotta use a script, like, quite literally. Oh well, other than that, enjoy your days, guys. I'll see you guys